Welcome back. In today's video, let's talk about my ultimate Tech EDC setup. We all love to carry the gear that helps us to get things done, whether it's for work, content creation, or just staying entertained while on the go. So let's get started. And first off, let's talk about my smartphone, the iPhone 14 Pro. And I know that there are already newer versions out there, but to be honest here, the 14 Pro is still amazing, and this device is a beast and I can't imagine a day without it. The 14 Pro packs some serious power in a small form factor, so whether I'm editing photos, recording some stories, or simply multitasking between apps, it still handles it all. One of my favorite things about the iPhone 14 Pro is the overall handling. At the end of the day, it just makes everything feel so smooth, from scrolling through Instagram to editing photos on the go. The camera also offers everything I need for some quick shots, making it a perfect baseline for my day-to-day life. But yeah, in most cases I just use it for some communication and my social media apps. That's why upgrading to newer iPhones wasn't necessary in the last couple of years. And of course the battery life is also solid too, lasting me through a busy day of meetings, content creation and watching some videos at night. And let's not forget the Apple ecosystem. With the iPhone 14 Pro I can seamlessly switch between my other Apple devices, which brings me to the next item in my EDC setup. And here we need to talk about the Apple Watch. Currently I'm using an older version, the Series 5, and let me tell you, for me this is still fine. Especially if you're someone like me who just uses some basic features like keeping track of notifications, navigation and stuff like that, the Apple Watch Series 5 is still great. But what I definitely need to mention is that I will definitely upgrade to a new version maybe next year, just to get a fresh upgrade. But still today the Series 5 is always part of my EDC. Now, what's an everyday carry without a solid pair of earbuds? And for me it's the AirPods Pro. Whether I'm editing videos, listening to music or jumping on a call, they are my go-to. The noise cancellation on the AirPods Pro is top notch. It's honestly impressive how much ambient noise they can block out, especially when I'm traveling. And then there's also a transparency mode which is just as good. If I need to hear what's going on around me, I can simply switch modes with a quick tap and it feels natural, like I'm not even wearing them. And of course one of the most important topics here, the sound quality, it's just great. And on top that they sync instantly across my Apple devices from my MacBook to my iPhone and my Mac Studio, the experience is just seamlessly great. Plus the battery life is also solid and the charging case gives me plenty of time throughout the day, so I can highly recommend the AirPods Pro if you're in the Apple ecosystem. And since I've already mentioned it, let's talk about the MacBook Pro M3 Max next. And yes, this is where the magic happens when I'm editing videos, working on content or just managing my workflow on the go. This thing is a powerhouse and I absolutely love it. It's my main computer for on-the-go stuff or whether I'm not in my home office. With the M3 Max chip's performance is never an issue. I can run multiple demanding apps like Final Cut Pro, Logic, Photoshop and Lightroom without having any issues. And for sure the display is stunning with deep blacks and bright highlights. Editing photos and videos on this machine is absolutely a dream. Another thing that makes this laptop a must-have for me is the battery life. I can get through a lot of work without needing to plug it in, and when I do, the fast charging with MagSafe gets me back to full power in no time. But next let's quickly talk about storage, because this is important too, especially when you're dealing with large 4K video files. With the MacBook Pro Superfast SSD there's no lag when transferring or editing files. I actually got a 2TB version to make it as easy as possible for me to work on a variety of projects, but speaking of storage, that's where my next item comes in. Because whenever I'm working on the go I also need a fast and reliable storage solution, and that's why I carry the Samsung Mini SSD. Because this one is perfect for storing and editing large video files and photos on the go. I can easily dump footage from my Canon R5 onto the SSD and start working on it immediately. On top I also love how compact and durable it is. It barely takes up any space in my bag, but it holds a terabyte of data and that's just great. In most cases I always create backups at home on my local NAS, but for on-the-go productions this small SSD is just awesome. And yes, I've actually used some other hard drives before, but the Samsung Mini SSD really stands out in terms of performance and reliability. Alright, let's switch gears a bit, because every good EDC setup needs some entertainment, right? And that's where the Nintendo Switch comes in. I love having this with me when I'm traveling or just taking a break from work. It's perfect for some quick gaming sessions between editing or while on long flights. And yes, I've been a huge fan of the Switch ever since it came out. You can play it handheld, dock to a TV or even in the tabletop mode. It's just awesome, and with games like Breath of the Wild or Mario Kart, there's always something fun to dive into. And the fact that it is portable means I can always have it with me in my bag, making the gaming experience absolutely great when you're on the go. So a 10 out of 10, I can highly recommend it. Now if you're serious about content creation like me, you need of course a good camera. And for me it's the Canon R5 with the RF 24-70 f2.8 lens and the battery grip. For sure the setup is a bit on the heavier side, but it's totally worth it for the quality you get. The Canon R5 is a mirrorless camera with a 45 megapixel full frame sensor which delivers a stunning image quality. Whether I'm shooting photos for my production productions or recording 4K videos for my channel, there are 5 handles it all like a champ. On top, the autofocus is insanely fast and accurate, which is crucial when you're shooting in dynamic environments. As for the lens, the 24-70 f2.8 is incredibly versatile. It's wide enough for landscape shots, but you can also zoom in for portraits or detail shots. On top, the f2.8 aperture lets a ton of light in, which is great for low light situations or achieving a great bokeh effect. For sure, I mostly travel with a variety of lenses, but for a light and compact setup, the 24-70 is just perfect. If you want to check out my other lenses that I use, there's also a video here on my channel, so definitely check that out. But yeah, the Canon R5's video capabilities are just impressive as well. It can shoot in up to 8K raw video, which is overkill for most of the things, but in general the 4K video footage gives me the flexibility in the post-production that I need. I also love that the camera has IBIS, which helps a lot when I'm shooting handheld, so all in all I can highly recommend this camera. Alright, let's move away from tech for a moment and let's talk about something every EDC setup needs, a good multi-tool. And I carry a Leatherman multi-tool, and it's been a lifesaver more times than I can count. Whether I need to tighten a screw, open a package or cut something, the Leatherman is always a great choice. Basically it's compact but packed with functionality, so there's everything you need all in one neat little package. I definitely need to say that I'm not a pro in this case and there are for sure some better options out there, but for me the build quality is great and it feels sturdy enough to handle all kind of small tasks. And yes, I can't tell how often I've reached for this when I'm here in my studio or on the go. It's for sure not the flashiest piece of gear in my EDC, but it's definitely one of the most useful gadgets. And last but not least, let's talk about lighting. As a content creator, lighting is super important, and that's why I always carry the Aperture MC RGB light. It's a tiny portable LED light that's absolutely great. The cool thing about this light is that it's fully RGB, so I can dial in any color I want for creative lighting effects. Whether I'm shooting videos or even taking still photos, having a portable light is a game changer. On top, the Aperture MC is magnetic, so I can stick it to metal surfaces for hands-free lighting. And it's battery powered, so I don't need to worry about plugging it in. So if you're looking for a compact light, I can highly recommend to pick one up on sale. But yeah, that's it, my ultimate Tech EDC setup, from the iPhone 14 Pro to the MacBook Pro M3 Max and everything in between. These are the essentials that keep me productive, creative and entertained on the go. If you're looking to upgrade your own EDC, I hope this gave you some ideas. So, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're new here, don't forget to smash that subscribe button to stay updated for upcoming videos, and I'll see you in the next video.